Bethany, I want to today introduce you to Margaret. Margaret is the one that runs our daycare here at the church. She's been here since 2010. You
That's right.
almost started when I started because I started in 2011. So you've been here almost as long as me.
Yes, I do. I remember you when you were up on the stage presenting to the
Yeah,
congregation.
yeah.
So,
Margaret,
yeah.
I just wanted you to let everybody know a little bit about yourself, like where you were born, your background, family, maybe some hobbies that you have.
I was born in the southwest of Scotland in a little town called Stranraer.
Hmm.
It's on the southwest, 100 miles south of Glasgow. Um, I've, I'm one of five. I'm the fourth child out of
Okay.
five.
Yeah.
Three brothers, one sister. They're all back in Scotland. My parents are both deceased since I
Mm.
came to Canada. Um, Hobbies, I played sports. I like
Yeah, you're a big soccer player.
I do like soccer, and
Yep.
I got to play the game once I came to Canada.
Hmm.
So I like women's. I followed the women's national team
Yep.
and support the Whitecaps.
Uh-huh.
Somebody has to,
Yeah,
Steph.
yeah, yeah. What
So
brought you to Canada with the rest
uh,
of your family staying?
I basically had I did a project in school on Canada.
Hmm.
I wrote away for some pamphlets
Hmm.
and travel brochures,
Hmm.
and it always impressed me when I received this package, open up the envelope. Remember those days?
Hmm.
Open up the envelope and got these glossy pictures of Canada, like
Hmm.
from east to west,
Yeah.
west to east. And I thought, wow, I was so just taken, breathtaking.
Yeah.
So it was always, seed was always planted. Maybe one day I would travel to
Hmm.
Canada or get there, but anyway, it wasn't until I went to decided to nursery nursing in Scotland in Edinburgh.
Yep.
So I moved from Stranraer to Edinburgh and did my nursery nursing course.
Hmm.
I worked for a year in Edinburgh as a nanny.
Okay.
So I had it as a nanny job, and then I saw an ad for Ottawa, Canada, 6-month-old baby
Hmm.
in June. So this was January, and I thought,
Okay.
friends kind of pressured me into
Yeah.
it and said,
Yeah.
"You've always talked about traveling. You want,
Yeah.
go try." So I did,
Hmm.
and sure enough, I got offered the position. So I came out to Ottawa to a 6-month-old baby and a young couple,
Hmm.
and stayed there. I was in 1981.
Okay. Okay.
So I left Scotland
Oh.
with the intentions of returning.
Yeah.
It was like, so I've been on holiday, except I've had to work. So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, Margaret, when I watch you oversee the daycare and the way you interact with the kids, the parents, and your staff, to me, it's obvious that this is not just a job for you and that it is a real calling. What has it been about whatever has happened to you that has made this such a strong calling in your life?
I think I was always, um, I always liked to be around. I watched my own family with struggles,
Hmm.
and then growing up in the small town, and parents making sacrifices and stuff. And I had some good like people in my life that
Hmm.
made a difference for me and
Hmm.
helped me get through a
Yeah.
lot of challenges and struggles. And I thought, well, people have been there for me. I
Hmm.
need to be there for others.
Hmm.
So I've always been one to reach out and offer help and support because people need people.
Yeah.
Like I've worked for people who are, they look to have everything, but
Hmm.
even they needed more actually.
Yeah.
So, being a young nanny in a family, and watching the, young corporate couple climb the corporate ladder, and while I was taking care of their children,
Wow. Yeah.
so you see the sacrifices they made. I'm home with their child,
Yeah.
and I just treated the children like they
Hmm.
were my own,
Hmm.
but the way I would like my children to be treated. And it just kind of evolved. I started in Ottawa, drove across Canada, the couple moved to Vancouver.
Hmm.
That's what brought me into the Vancouver area.
Hmm.
Stayed with them for 6 years,
Okay.
and then I found a friend was working at Family Place,
Hmm.
so I was offered a position there, and so filling in. Actually, I was to fill in for a short time, and then I was offered a permanent position, and I loved being at Family Place,
Yeah.
and I brought the children. When I first got there, the children were on one side and the parents were on the other, and it was the days a lot of parents were smoking.
Okay.
So the parents were like to get out, like,
Yeah.
here's my child, I'm going to go have my
Hmm.
smoke. It's like, no, I don't think so. Child screaming, Mom, it was just a bad situation. And I goes, why? Come in. Like, so I was always at the Play-Doh table or the
Mhm.
craft table. So I welcomed the parents into the room.
Yeah.
And that's where I started supporting the importance of supporting the family, the
Oh,
whole family.
right.
Because in order to puff them up,
Yeah.
to puff
Yeah,
the
the whole
child up,
unit.
the whole unit,
Mhm.
it takes, yeah, it's the whole unit.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great. What is it about working with kids and family that you love so much? What gives you joy in what you do?
it just comes naturally and
Okay.
it just fills my
Yeah.
heart, knowing that I've made a difference.
Yeah.
Um, because those memories and the connections and they're in my heart
Mhm.
forever. And as I said, going back to my the early
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
I think it's how people were there for me,
Mhm.
the community, friends,
Mhm.
family, non-family members. So it's kind of like I'm giving back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of giving back to others
Yeah.
because they were there for me,
Mhm.
helped me to become the person I am
Mhm.
today. But yeah,
Yeah, that's good. Margaret, the daycare that you run is run in a church, and so you have a lot of interaction with us as staff and with different church people. And that, how, what's been a little bit of your faith journey growing up, and kind of, where you're at now with some of your own journey in that area?
the southwest of Scotland. My grandparents and parents were Presbyterian.
Yeah.
Went to attended the Church of Scotland.
Mhm.
Um, it was every Sunday. There were things we were allowed to do on Sundays or things we weren't allowed to do on Sundays. But basically, going to church. It was quite different way back then to what it is today. I watch the children of Bethany and think, wow, how blessed are they?
Mhm.
Because my experience of church was very strict and
Mhm.
kind of cold
Mhm.
and um, yeah, it was just like it was more like a chore.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, got to go to church, got to go to Sunday school. Um, although I enjoyed seeing the people afterwards
Mhm.
and getting dressed up and
Mhm.
but it was yeah, it
Wasn't
was
the
strict.
Yeah,
It was
wasn't the
just
best
as
experience for you as a
no, it
child?
really wasn't. But I,
Mhm.
and I mean, I mean, they did plant some seeds in me for
Mhm.
sure
Mhm.
because throughout my life, I reach out
Mhm.
to, to when I came to Canada,
Mhm.
the neighbors next door were attending a United Church. So
Mhm.
the young girls there took me under their wing and
Mhm.
took me to the church in, the Rideau Church in Ottawa.
Mhm.
And yeah, the community and the family, because
Mhm.
having no family here,
Mhm.
um, as I said, people need people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I came to Vancouver, um, when I was attending Richmond Family Place, I had a car accident and I was off work for some time.
Mhm.
And it was the same thing. It was
Mhm.
the church. It was the Dunbar United Church.
Mhm.
Some of the congregation I had bumped into, and
Mhm.
they welcomed me there and helped
Mhm.
me through that period because everything was taken away. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed sports. I wasn't allowed anything.
Yeah.
It was basically just go to appointments, do
Wow.
appointments, and I didn't have family,
Yeah.
and my friends were all working.
Yeah.
So through the day, I had
Yeah.
so
You also talked to me a little bit before about some of your struggle that you've had with God because of, I think it was the death of your mother.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I came, it was the year I came to Canada. I left Scotland in June. I went back in September for a friend's wedding, and my mom had been sick, but she didn't say how sick.
Mm.
So I came back in December, the middle of December, I got a call to say my mom had month to months to live.
Mm.
So the family I was with planned for me to get back to Scotland ASAP. Um, so I ended up flying out that night. So
Mm.
I got home on the 24th of December, and my mom passed away on the 28th.
Mhm.
So I just made it back in time. And yeah, I was young, and it was like, why? She suffered in life, suffered in death. I had lots of questions, and I did step back.
Mm.
I really did pull back.
Mm.
But I think those seeds in the early days,
Mm.
and they're there, they're in
Mm.
my heart,
Mm.
and I've you know, and now being at Bethany, and every day I come to our church for work, I
Mm-hmm.
feel kind of blessed actually, because it's like,
Well, you bless us as well. I always feel blessed seeing you around and you being
yeah,
your presence around here and that as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
thanks, Margaret.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, and my mom, and I think that's why I'm still in Canada to this day,
Okay.
because the passing of my mom,
Yeah.
my brothers and sisters were doing their thing,
Yeah.
and it was like the couple I was working for wanted me to come back,
Yeah.
and I returned, and
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
A year goes by, another
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm getting younger all the time.
Yeah. The parents are obviously trying to figure out a little bit of a new reality in their homes right now with COVID-19 and having to stay at home and kids not being in school. And it's probably, I know, driving some parents crazy. Well, what would you say as someone that works with kids and works with parents so much? What would you say to them in regards to the use of this time?
I think it's it's a very unprecedented time. Nobody saw this really coming. So I sort of, in one way, I see it as a gift,
Mm,
you know, because we have the children here from 7 in the morning to 6 at night,
mhm,
Monday to Friday.
yeah,
So, and I know it's got its challenges and having children, but the gift of having the time with your child,
mhm,
um, and I think it's everybody's having to be creative.
mhm,
Um, yes, it's stressful. Some parents have lost jobs. They're not sure what the future brings, but they're together. They are together. And I think time is precious.
mhm,
And I think with everything that's going on in the world,
mhm,
it's more so.
mhm,
So I think my advice is just, it's not going to be as Dr. Bonnie says, it's not going to be forever.
mhm,
It's just, so it's trying to just enjoy being with each other, finding creative things to do, like build a fort, go camping out in your living room. Um, I know it, but routine, I
yeah,
think routine, the children, how it works at the daycare is
yeah,
because we have routine. The children know what to expect. And I think right now with all the anxiety around, the children are stressed. They don't
mm.
know, they've lost their friends, they've
So
lost
routine is very important for the
routine.
child. Mm,
Routine is
mhm,
very, that's why it works for us,
mhm,
because we have lunch at a certain
yeah,
time. They know what to
yeah,
expect. And I think for parents it's it's not a holiday. It's like stick to routine.
mhm,
Have your routine. Have your time for your children. Schedule it in. You can work,
mhm,
stop, take a break, get outside.
mhm,
I think the being outdoors,
yeah,
and it is to remember it's a home
mhm,
too. I mean, we're all on homeschooling and school and academics. It's so important,
yeah,
but there's different ways of teaching children.
mhm,
I think it's to remember it is your home,
mhm,
and the children, the stress is, we're all under a lot of stress,
yeah,
and they have lost their friends and their daycares and their activities outside of school. So
mhm,
I think it's just enjoy, like
yeah,
just try and find the joy in it, and talk to
mhm,
each other, communication, limit the screen time.
mhm,
I know it has its place and it's like you need it at times, but I think also to limit it.
yeah,
But you can learn math. You can go outside and dig a worm up,
yeah,
measure it, and
yeah.
you can teach. There's other ways of
That's
teaching
good.
rather than the strict
Yeah,
homeschool.
yeah,
Is to remember it's a home. They've got to feel safe, loved, and
mhm,
secure.
mhm,
And right, especially with all the stress
yeah,
that are around
yeah.
right now.
That's great.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what I wish for them. I hope they're enjoying
Mhm,
having time, precious time,
yeah,
because they grow up so fast,
yeah.
Steph. And
That's really good
it's
advice.
like
Yeah,
we only have them
yeah,
this much, and that's what I want to do. I want to make a
yeah,
difference, and yeah, I mean we're responsible for our life.
yeah,
We're setting them up for life.
yeah,
It's not just yeah, turn on, turn off,
yeah.
but and take care of parents to take care of themselves.
Mhm,
For them to find some time for them,
yeah,
exercise, try and keep on top of
yeah,
the anxiety.
yeah,
Reach out
yeah,
to Pastor Steph,
yeah,
talk to him.
yeah,
Just having somebody in your court,
yeah.
and I think that's what I want to do for the parents
Mm,
when I do run the daycare is to be there for them.
that's yeah.
Might not have all the
Well,
answers, but just let people know I'm there.
sometimes I
Reach
think we
out.
worry too much about trying to have all the answers, where some of the biggest answer is just our presence, being there for people.
Yeah,
That's better than having a bunch of right
yeah.
answers.
Like
Yeah,
I don't have all the
yeah.
answers, and I don't.
But you can be there as a person in somebody else's life.
Just support
Yeah,
and guide a little bit,
yeah,
and they're not alone.
yeah,
Nobody's alone at this
yeah.
time. I think that's
Well, thank
That's
you,
it.
Margaret, so much
You're very
for spending some time with us. And now I'm going to let you go so you can get back to the kids at the daycare.
doing what I do.
Yeah,
Anyway, thank you.
thanks.